This is the most horrendous and horrific crime that I've experienced throughout my entire career. The defendant in this incident deserves a special place in the gates of hell for what he did to this mother and these children.
This is the story of Denja Nickie Moore, aged 30, and her 3 young kids who were stabbed over 100 times and left to die in a burning house set ablaze by Charles Leon Ivy, aged 34, her boyfriend and the father to 2 of her kids. Charles, who was the father to 2 of her kids, got upset and stabbed Denja and her 10-month-old over 100 times. After stabbing the mother and the 10-month-old baby, he locked up the remaining 2 kids with their dead mom in the house and proceeded to set the whole house on fire with the kids in it. Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Subscribe and hit the like button for more stories.
New developments now in the murders of a mom and her 10-month-old baby. Daytona Beach police say a suspect is in jail now, facing a long list of charges.
This story will be taking us to Daytona Beach, Florida. Daytona Beach is a city on Florida's Atlantic coast. It's known for Daytona International Speedway, which hosts February's iconic Daytona 500 NASCAR race. Daytona Beach, Florida has a significantly higher violent crime rate than the U.S. average, at 63.2 compared to 22.7. Denja Nickie Moore, aged 30, a mother of 3 beautiful kids. Her kids were ages 5, 4, and 10 months. Denja was so close to her kids, she loved them so much.
I'm gonna teach Dove how to say my name. Say Mommy.
Mommy.
Nikki.
Nikki.
Danija. Danija. Da.
Josh.
Ni.
Me.
Ja.
Josh.
Danija.
Nanisha.
Denja attended school in Florida where she graduated and decided to start up something for herself while she was waiting to go to college. Denja became a beautician. She had a salon where she mostly does hair. She had a big client base, which was how she made money to feed herself and her kids. Despite how hard life can be sometimes, she still enjoyed life with her friends. Denja ended up meeting a young man named Charles Leon Ivy, aged 34. Charles, according to his social media, states he is the owner of a landscaping company and was also a former 11 Bravo infantry in the U.S. Army. It further stated that he went to school at the Daytona State College. They started dating and things were normal for a while until she had 2 kids by him. Charles started backing out of the relationship and won't act like a man. There are times where he would not have anything to do with the kids. Denja did all she could to make him present in the kids' life, but it was not an easy task for her. Denja can be seen here writing him to come see his kids. Things went downwards after that and Denja decided to find someone else who she had another baby by. Denja focused on her kids and her business. She seemed happy and was taking her life as it comes. Few days before Thanksgiving in 2023, on Tuesday, November 21st, Denja and Charles got into an altercation and it ended up being very fatal. Charles was supposed to come drop some money for Denja so she could help the kids with it, but when he got there, he did something else. Charles had got into it with Denja, he snapped for whatever reason and then began to stab her. After stabbing her close to 100 times, he proceeded to the other room where she had her 10 months old and he did the same thing to the baby. All the while her other 2 kids who were his biological kids were in the house too watching. After stabbing Denja and the 10 months over 100 times, he locked them in and then set the house on fire along with the other kids. Denja could have been dead at this time, but the 2 kids ages 4 and 5 were still well alive in the rooms. The thoughts of him being a father must have been the reason why he decided to lock them in and set the house ablaze. Police and Daytona Beach firefighters were called to the apartment fire at the Countryside Apartments at 1200 Bevel Road around 11:47 p.m. The apartment was fully engulfed with flames and large plumes of black smoke were emitting from the windows and doors. When fire rescue entered the building, they were able to locate 3 young children. A 10-month-old baby was pronounced dead at the Halifax Medical Center, and the other 2 children were transported to Shands Children's Hospital in Gainesville. Denja was pronounced dead right there on the scene. She had been stabbed close to 100 times and also had severe burns. Police eventually tracked down and arrested Charles Ivy for the arson murder and arrested him the next day.
New developments now in the murders of a mom and her 10-month-old baby. Daytona Beach police say a suspect is in jail now, facing a long list of charges after detectives say 34-year-old Charles Ivy stabbed that mom and set fire to their apartment, killing the baby. Police say this happened late Monday night at the Countryside Apartments off Bevel Road in Daytona Beach. 2 other kids were also inside the home during the fire. They're still in critical condition at a hospital. News 6's Molly Reed is in Daytona Beach with details on how investigators tracked Ivy down.
We now know the 2 children who are in the hospital at this time, still fighting for their life, are Charles Ivy's own children with the victim. Now, police were back here at the jail trying to question him more today. They say so far he's not confessed to anything, and they still don't have a motive.
The evidence is clear. The evidence speaks for itself.
34-year-old Charles Ivy is now facing several murder, attempted murder, and arson charges. Daytona Beach detectives say on Monday night he stabbed his ex, 30-year-old Nickie Moore, then set her apartment on fire with their 4- and 5-year-old children inside and Moore's 10-month-old, the infant dying afterwards in the hospital.
I have never witnessed anything this horrific in my entire career.
Police say inside the apartment they found the stove's burners all turned on with papers and boxes on top to start a fire, so they knew it was intentionally set. Detectives then went to track down the murderer.
We were able to track his vehicle via traffic cameras leaving the area after this incident would have occurred.
Chief Jakari Young says Ormond Beach police told Ivy about his children right after the fire. After that, police couldn't get a hold of him. Detectives went to Ivy's Ormond Beach home, saw him limping, putting suitcases in his car, and then leaving. The chief says they pulled him over and arrested him.
He was also in possession, admittedly, of the victim's cell phone.
Now, as Ivy's held in jail, his 2 children are still in critical condition in the hospital.
Their injuries were as a result of being left to die in a fully engulfed fire.
During the preliminary investigations, police realized that all 4 burners on the kitchen stove were turned on and had large amounts of miscellaneous burnt paper and a box located on top. The state fire marshal investigator determined the fire was an intentional act and criminal in nature with 2 arson locations. The 4-year-old and a 5-year-old escaped the fire but remain in critical condition. They are currently intubated at the hospital.
Why this happened? Investigators are still working to find that out.
But right now the motive is not clear. It's still not clear. We may never get a clear motive to this.
He is currently being charged with 2 counts of premeditated first-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted felony murder, and 1 count of arson. He is being held by Volusia County Corrections on no bond. Denja's family and friends held a vigil for her and her 10-month-old who was lost in the fire.
Fox 35's Hannah McKenzie was there and is live in the studio tonight. Hannah, this is just such a troubling time for this family.
Yeah, Marlisa, it really is. Instead of eating turkey and watching football this Thanksgiving, the Moore family lit candles and prayed over the loss of Nickie Moore and her baby Messiah. But there is one thing they tell me they're very thankful for.
Thanksgiving for the Moores different this year.
It's supposed to be about family today, but today it's about family, but it's a sad family, a sad and hurted family.
Nickie Moore, known as Nickie, and son Messiah, killed Tuesday.
I can't understand this. Why this happened?
Moore's Daytona Beach apartment set on fire. Crews arriving to find the 30-year-old's body with multiple stab wounds. Baby Messiah was pronounced dead at an area hospital per police.
He was 10 months old. Didn't even get to make it to his first birthday because of this monster.
34-year-old Charles Ivy now charged in their murders. He and Moore's 2 children, a 4- and 5-year-old, also found inside the burning apartment. They are now at Shands Hospital in Gainesville.
They was intubated and they were supposed to be waking them up today.
Amelia Moore telling us the Florida Department of Children and Families won't let them near the toddlers, and they don't know why.
We don't know what they saw, we don't know what they heard, and they're gonna be screaming for their mother.
The family's gathering somber this year, but not without thanks. They're grateful for the first responders who risked their lives to save Moore's toddlers, Dove and Dakota.
We want to make sure they never forget their mother and know that she loved them.
And tonight, Ivy is in custody facing multiple charges, including 2 counts of premeditated murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, and arson.
A clear motive for the reason of the crime is still yet to be known. Our sincere condolences to the friends and families of Denja Nickie Moore. May Denja's memory be a blessing for her family and for all who knew her, and may her life and death be an inspiration and a turning point towards justice and increased protection for domestic abuse survivors. Please stay safe out there and see you guys in the next video.